Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, appreciation, value. The polarity of Libra is Aries, your sense of self. Aries is correlated with the ram, the sacrificial animal in the Bible. They go towards whatever they want and they pioneer. They're the instinct. Whereas Libra have the ability to relate, to share, to apply meaning and value things based on what they internally see that has to be relatable. Libra is an air sign. They're cardinal with their air. They're initiating a sense of relationship. The polarity is that they don't analyze their shadow. They don't see their own unique potentiality. They're stuck in other people and they stay stuck in competitive mode. That's the shadow side of Libra. Libras, instead of going straight to the instinct, to the act, like Aries, they can stop and balance things. But if they stay stuck in the other side of the balance scale, in their relationship, or in whatever they're putting their value externally upon, that's what makes Libras copycatter, apply their own unique value system onto other people's systems, and that's what makes them fall into ideologies of other people. The opposition of Saturn is the moon, which are emotions, so they can stay stuck in the emotional currents of other people based on whatever they're putting their value onto externally, so they can ride with emotions of whatever value system they're applying themselves to. When they have the ability to place structure, discipline into whatever they're valuing, they can build something, because Saturn helps them do that. That's why they love to be in Saturn, because they have the ability to see things from a broader cardinal point. Saturn is originally ruling Capricorn, which Capricorn is cardinal Earth. So it semantically builds something with the words, whereas Libra creates something using the words, meaning a poem, a song. They put that value system into semantics and can apply beauty, harmony, which can be perceived as an ability to connect in a deeper way. Libra can use their words and target you because they know how to be cardinal with the words. Whereas Gemini can be wishy-washy with the way they're curious with their mental frameworks, Libra can go up to Saturn and see how to semantically apply the meaning onto words. Libra is correlated with the 7th house, meaning it stemmed from the 7th house life situation. And depending on what planet you have in Libra, that's going to determine what specific energy and modality and synergy you can create from this archetype. It's a very different dynamic if you have Mars in Libra, which is actually a detriment, than if you have your moon in Libra. Your moon is your emotional cycles. And Mars is your aggression, your willpower, how you use that raw energy. That's why Mars and Venus are our internal planets. The moon and the sun, those are you. That's your conscious and your unconscious. The planets are energies within you that you can use. So the 1st and the 7th house point a scale of polarity between yourself and your sense of relationship. However you're relating to the world, to other people, that's going to explain how you mentally frame things, how you mentally initiate and create a new way of airing things, of moving the air, of moving your mind. Whereas Gemini are being curious with that airiness, and Aquario in a fixated way. Gemini are being curious because they're mutable. So they're Aquario are fixed with their own mental frameworks. Libra relates that mental framework, so they can initiate, they can create. They're the cardinal air. Mutable air, fixed air. So wherever you have Libra in your chart is going to tell you where you initiate, create, relate. Your storyline of the Libra archetypal structure is going to be in the episode of life where that happens. So for instance, if you have Libra in the 2nd house, your value system is based upon the Libra archetype. So Libra is relating. So you have to place value in whatever you're relating with the world. So how you get the airiness and how you initiate the airiness. You have to place values in how you relate, how you symbolize whatever you're relating to. So however you balance your relationships with other people, with the world, with yourself, you have to share that and build a value system upon that. Because you have Venus there, double down, because you have the house, which is the 2nd house, plus the Libra archetype, which is relationships, relating through the air, the communication, which is semantically applying meaning onto the air. Words can connect us to an emotion. Libra can be very artistic because they can take from different perspectives and build something new, which makes them creative. So when you have Libra in your second house, naturally you have this creative, instinctual eye and mental framing of relationships. You spring the idea and how you relate your idea. So now you're going within to your mental frameworks, because the 8th house is your deep desires based on whatever you're relating. So you have to fixate on the emotion you get based on the external world to transform. The 9th house is how you are enlightened. You're mutable with your fire. So now you can see externally. So you can mentally frame things based on a bigger, expansive conclusion. You're getting away from your sense of self. You're now looking at things mentally from a broader conclusion based on how you started going through the life situation after the 7th house, which is how you relate. So after you relate, you start building an interpretation. Each of these stories creates an energetical field. These energetical fields dictate how your energy moves. Until here, this is your energy and how you work on your energy. Here you start relating that energy. So this would be North. So here we start with Capricorn, and here we start with Cancer. And here in the 12th house, now you're dreaming. You have a broad understanding emotionally of the collective unconscious, which makes you wise with Neptune's aspect also, because Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, but also Neptune. So Neptune is the planet of illusions. So you have a broad understanding, and now you can become creative with the way you frame your Jupiter, how you apply meaning, expansion, wisdom of mind. The 7th house is the axis of your house of self. So it's really important to understand where you might need to balance things a little more. Because if you don't have any planets in the house you have Libra at, it means that other people are putting that influence in that house. And if you're not aware of that, let's say you have Pluto there, let's say you have Mars there, which are not malefic planets, they're just more intense planets that you have to understand and work with to get the advantage of them. If you have Mars in the 2nd house, it means that there's a lot of aggression, passion, willpower. So you can fuel that anger into something creative once you understand your own unique energies. And I'm gonna get deeper into how to do that and start different things soon. About how to implement more the practicality of astrology, because it's understanding your psychology, understanding the collective unconscious and developing the individuation framework. Not to become isolated, but to build your own sense of self and go face the world with your synergy. So yeah, go understand your polarity. Since I haven't finished my Libra archetype based on my camera acting a little weird, I figured I finished it with Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love, appreciation, values. Taurus grounds and stabilizes by building from within a foundation, not placing their self-worth externally, but going within, fixating on their mental structure so they can build. Taurus deals with the somatic practices. They're correlated with the body and mind connection, because Taurus is practical with their way of thinking, so they can ground whatever they're thinking and stabilize their mental structure. So that's what makes them stubborn, but if they're aware of their inner power, they can be fueling that stubbornness into their own self-worth, their own value system. Venus would be correlated with the portals of the 2nd and the 7th house. The yin and the yang aspect of it, because Libra externalizes what they're relating about. That's what makes them the cardinal air, meaning that they see a thought and they can build up from that thought because they're the air signs. Whereas Taurus are practicalizing whatever they value. So they see values externally, then they go within, build a mental framework and build a system that allows them to be fixated and build a sense of self-worth. Which, when we look at the polarity of Taurus, we have Scorpio. If the polarity of Scorpio is Taurus, then that means that the balance scale would be understanding that you have to go within and transform your water. What's water? It's your emotions. If you don't ground your emotional life, Taurus are going to be placing their value upon external things, and they're going to overindulge. And the reason Taurus are so connected with the body is because they deal with that mental framework of mind. So they're able to perceive whatever is going on externally and mentally build something from that, and then they can externalize that. They can fuel that. So then, if this is your spark, how you initiate your life situations, then Taurus is how do you start to build a foundation based on what we just talked about, which is your value system. And that's based on your spark, which is the first house, which is correlated with Aries archetype, the ram, the head on first. They're going with the flame. So the second house would be your inner value. Now that you flamed something, what can you value now that you're seeing something? Understanding these dynamics and the dynamics of each of your life situations can give you a better understanding of how to mutate through this. Wherever you have Taurus in that's going to be the filtering system of Venus. Venus is correlated with the Greek goddess Aphrodite. In Greek myth, she was correlated with the themes of love, appreciation, value. She resembled these things. Greeks associate planets with specific gods. For instance, Mars is correlated with the Greek god of wars because it uses the willpower. So it's correlated with Ares. Ares is the Greek god of war. Understanding our 360 can help us wield the power of Venus, because once we understand our life situation, which is from the first house all the way through the 12th house, then we can start knocking in these doors. And you knocking in those doors is understanding your own unique energy. These are different episodes of life. So fueling the 7th house is just an example of how you can see how you balance your connection of how you apply your value and the value system, how you relate to the world, to other people, to the things externally that mirror you, that project the self, because the opposition is Aries. And I know I keep rambling, I'm just trying to practicalize how to look at your ascendant to better understand how to calculate it, because I know this mathematical equation can seem tricky, but it's about alchemizing and geometrically becoming a polymath of your own storyline. Since this is Venus, Venus will be here and would be knocking. Wherever you have Venus in at your chart is going to determine how that energy is fueling. Let's say you have your Venus in the 4th house. Then that means that you place a lot of value, appreciation, and desire towards 4th house things naturally, because this is the episode of life. So you're going to receive 4th house magnetism because you have your Venus there. The way this plays out is different because the influence is being put by you. When you're putting a planet in an astrological house, that's you emitting a specific energy. When we want to understand the dynamic of the archetype of Taurus and how it relates and correlates with Venus, we have to understand how the planets are combining their energies. For instance, Mars also is ruling Aries and Scorpio, but different dynamics. We have the yin, which is Scorpio, and then the yang, which is Aries. I know I keep circling. I'm trying to practicalize this the best I can, and I'm going to keep doing it. Essentially, just understanding how the dynamics play out is going to give you the beginner's toolbox to how to look at your will chart, because this is all this is about. It's understanding your will. But to understand the will, we have to practicalize how to look at it and apply the everything.